What's up, y'all, and welcome to a special edition of the Tricology News Talk. Like I mentioned before, this year we're going to be doing something different and something new for you guys. And this is going to be a very special segment for this episode, what I like to call the Dynamite review show. And we're also going to be doing a Rampage show review as well. But before we get into the review, let's introduce my co-host for this special segment. You already know him. Yeah, he's been with us through not only the Tricology News Talk and the Respect the Combat podcast. My dear sister partner, and soon coming up, my entity partner. Please welcome Leland Benford. What's up, brother?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm not gonna still Steve Austin's gimmick, but what is up, man? I've been looking forward to just talk AEW and the reviews. What a heck of a show Beach Break was last night. So I'm excited that I'm here talking about it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We were supposed to do for our first premiere episode was supposed to be on the debut episode when they appear on TBS, but as you know, COVID got in the situation, but it was a stinker. But it's a good way to start on a special episode of Dynamite. Breach Bay was definitely a good show. You had a good ladder match. We had a good lights out match, and then we have a lot of matches that have been announced are coming up soon. So let's not waste time. Let's start off with the opener. Was the TNT Championship Unification match with Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes. Now, they skipped the entrances for that, and we just dive straight into the match. So my thing is that when it comes to like ladder matches, we rarely see any one-on-one type ladder matches in a long time, because the ladder matches nowadays, it just be like multi-man matches, and they're just there to like get the crowd hype and get them wow for any special things that's happened. So there's rarely any time for the past couple of years that you see a one-on-one ladder match with a good stakes on the line. And then this kind of reminds me of Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon for the Undisputed Intercontinental Championship match back at WrestleMania 10, and then this was a bomb burner of a ladder match. We had moments that kind of remind you of the WrestleMania 17 moment with Jeff Hardy and Edge, and there was one moment that where freaking for Del Sol came out. Like, I didn't understand that, why he had to come in to do that match, but at the end of it, we got a new undisputed TNT champion, which is Sammy Guevara, which I was surprised, which was a good move. I hardly thought Cody was gonna win, but Sammy did win, which was the right move. And then and now we got a lot of speculation of what's next for Cody. And even though he's not under contract with AEW, he's a free agent. So
yeah, interesting times with Cody Rhodes. Just to kind of take it back some, having them start with the no interests was kind of a bummer for me, because I like to hear how the crowd is going to react to Cody. That's like one of my new favorite things. Is this a boo crowd or is it a cheer crowd? And so far, since this kind of turn happened for Cody, it's like a 50-50 always with the crowds. So it's interesting that Cody Rhodes is AEW versions of John Cena now, where we got Cody, let's go Cody, Cody sucks chants. And I have an issue with those chants, because I think it always needs to be a let's go Sammy chant, like chant for the guy that you really want to win, you know? So all the people who's chanting Cody sucks should have been chanting let's go Sammy if you didn't want Cody to win. But Cody is now in that place of being a betweener. He's doing heel things and he's doing face things. He's doing heel things like really taking it to Sammy's leg, but also checking on the lady in the audience to make sure she didn't get hit. There was a lot of things I liked about this match, and it was such a good match, but there was a couple of things that stuck out to me that I wish they worked out. But I do want to say it was that cutter that Sammy Guevara did from the top rope when he leapfrogged over the ladder to do a cutter on Cody Rhodes was just ridiculous and amazing. And it was like the one cutter that I'm like, oh, Randy Orton wouldn't be able to have hit that. Like Orton wouldn't be able to hit that RKO from that kind of position in the way that Sammy did it. So bravo to Sammy Guevara for doing something really original in the ring. And doing something really just phenomenal. There was a couple of moments where I feel like Sammy should have kind of worked the crowd a little bit more, or worked his injuries a little bit more to make it feel like it was more of a battle. But overall, really good match, and I'm interested to see where Cody goes. Is he going to be a heel? Is he going to be a face? Or is he just going to keep riding the in-between line and doing it that way?
Yeah, that cutter, that's like I mentioned before, that cutter reminds me of WrestleMania 17 when Jeff Hardy was hanging over the ledge and then Ed Spear. That's where that moment reminded me of.
And there was a great moment where they both was hanging on to the belts and they both dropped off. And that was a cool moment because I thought Cody was going to grab one on the way down. So really interesting to put the belts back on Sammy Guevara. I think he does make a good TNT champion. He's young. His matches are good. Now, seeing who he goes against next, that'll be very interesting. I would love if they put somebody like Dante Martin and Sammy Guevara together. Or Powerhouse Hobbs versus Sammy Guevara, and really build a program around the TNT title, or even have some previous people come back. Like Miro hasn't been on TV in a minute, and I think he's enjoying it. But having some of those guys come back, but I think whoever their next person is for that TNT title needs to be something that either we haven't thought of or something we just want. We haven't seen these two guys go at it yet, and make it a good story that leads to the next pay-per-view.
The next challenger I see is probably going to be Scorpio Sky, or probably Scorpio Sky, because he was in the crowd with America Top
Dan
Team.
Lambert. Yeah, Dan Lambert, right. They are pushing that. And Ethan Page definitely needs a bigger. I think Ethan Page is one talented dude on the mic and in the ring. And I feel like they haven't been utilizing them as much as they could. But I can't remember any highlights from his match with Sammy Guevara. So that is one thing as well. But I don't know, them in the TNT title, I don't know. Are they a team? Are they singles? Like, why aren't they going for the tag belts more than just kind of messing around with Inner Circle? I know they had that big match with Inner Circle, so I know they still have some heat there. But top team man of the year should be going for the belts and not necessarily one at a time for the TNT title.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Tony Khan. Like he definitely sees Ethan Page and Scorpio guys as a good single competitors, but now they also good as a tag team. But it's just going to be interesting how it's going to be going forward, because like I said before, either Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page is going to be the next person in line to go after says Sammy Guevara. But
I really enjoy. I don't know if you guys ever get a chance to listen and go check out the AEW ranking site, but I really enjoyed that every new of the year we have a new record, and people who was in 5th place in December can jump up to 1st place if they get a couple of wins behind them. And I think it's just and we all know wrestling is a work. We all understand that. But this does just give some legitimacy and like some strategy to wrestlers who can jump in. Because look at Private Party, who's jumped to the top of the, charts here, who have a, tag team match with Jurassic Express. So, I mean, that's where I want to see the top team. I want to see the top team somewhere in there and not necessarily going for the TNT title, or Man of the Year, I should say.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. So after the match, we have an interview with Team Taz, and they are somewhere in a snowy beach in Cleveland. I didn't even know they had beaches in Cleveland.
For sure. Got the Great Lakes, buddy.
Let me ask you this question. Do they have beaches in Detroit?
Yeah, we do. We have Belle Isle, we have Metro Beach, it's the Great Lakes. So we don't have oceans like you guys have in Miami, but we have some really great lakes.
I mean, as snowy as that beach was, like, who lives there? Sub-Zero? Who lives there?
I mean, you'd be surprised. People do still go out there, but in the summertime, it's always really nice. I don't recommend jumping in Detroit River. I've done it a couple of times and never came out the same.
Oh my God! There was even a funny moment with Tony Schiavone saying, "My hand is split to the microphone because it's so snowing."
Like Powerhouse Hobbs say so.
Oh my God! And now Powerhouse has challenged Dante Martin to another match. We're probably going to happen next week. They never mention when the schedule going to be happening, but we do have another scheduled match that's going to be happening next Friday, Rampage, and that's Ricky Starks accepting Jay Lethal's challenge for the FTW Championship.
Yeah. Let's go Jay Lethal. And I like Starks as well. I like Ricky Starks, but I'm definitely think more of a Jay Lethal fan at this point.
Yeah. And then
also, just to jump back to it, I just want to talk about how into that match the crowd was for Cody and Sammy. Just when I looked at my notes and just saw that, but that crowd last night was so hella into that match, and that made it such much more of a better match.
You think that should have main evented the show?
I like how AEW throw their main events in front sometimes, because it just starts me off with action. It just like, man, I'm glad I saw that now. But I mean, also, I think what ended the show had to end the show because it was a lights out match.
Yeah, but we'll get to the lights out match in a moment. But another Warlow squash match. He defeated two other guys in a handicap match. That was an easy win. So
you skipped one. You skipped I think it was 2.0 versus Inner Circle.
No, that was after Warlow's match.
Oh, it was? Okay, great.
Yeah, like I said, that was an easy match. We get skipped on to that. I just want to see Warlow become a baby face. I'm hoping he wins the Face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution, and then it comes to a point when he split with MJF, and it's coming soon. The crowd is very hype on Warlow to become a baby face and and break up with MJF.
He is a hell of a star. You hear the reports talking about WWE is interested in him. So yeah, he is a hell of a star, and AEW will be smart to kind of drop a belt on him pretty quick here.
Yeah, and then we go into Chris Jericho, Santana Ortiz, also known as the Inner Circle, against Daniel Garcia and 2.0. So we all know, but with this angle with Jericho, Santana Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston, this all going to lead up to Jericho versus Eddie Kingston at Revolution. That's why I see that this is headed. So Chris Jericho and Santana Ortiz got the win against Daniel Garcia and 2.0, but Santana Ortiz was not very happy at the end, but because in the point of the match that they didn't want to tag in Jericho in most of the match, but eventually Jericho tagged this up in the point of the match, but that he did hit him with the Judas Effect on who was it? He got hit with the Judas Effect. I think it was either, I don't know, it was Garcia or somebody else, but yeah, Santana Ortiz wasn't very happy that Jericho assisted him in order to win the match. So again, yeah, Santana Ortiz are caught in a situation with Jericho and Kingston. So I feel like this is going to lead up to a match with Jericho and Kingston at Revolution. So what are your thoughts on between Jericho, Santana Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston?
I'm really liking the story that's being told here, man. I was just like I ain't gonna lie, I'm a huge mark for Inner Circle because they was like the first bad boy group of AEW. You know what I mean? Like they were the day one, first episode of Dynamite, they formed. So I've always been a big fan of the Inner Circle. So this for me is just like, okay, so either they're planning to break down the Inner Circle one by one, or they're planning a big comeback thing for the Inner Circle. And that's always the fun part with Inner Circle stories, that it can go either way. And it's always just a fun ride to watch their stories play out. But also, I want to see Pride and Powerful get their shine and get their light. I want to see them kind of free of the Inner Circle and able to kind of just mix it up in the tag team division and really start making, kicking ass and taking names, So I want to see more, Pride and Powerful versus FTR and the Acclaimed and all these guys, so I definitely want to see them just mix it up more. I think Man of the Year and Santana Ortiz can have a great program together because it's just complete opposites. And I think with their skill and with their personalities, I think they can have a great program.
Yeah, but I think I like where you headed there. But like I mentioned before, the main story of this situation is Jericho and Kingston. So yeah, we're gonna see how that match for, because Kingston he's on the injury list, but he's about to return soon, just before just in time for Revolution. So
also really hype about that rivalry as well. Kingston and Jericho, I mean, two veterans in their own right. One, way more of a celebrity. The other one, a celebrity in the indie world, and has become like an overnight, sensation for I think a lot of wrestling fans who wasn't familiar with his indie work. So I mean, it's such a good story that can be told there, and they're so both really good on the mic that it's just going to be fun to watch these guys tussle. Now, when it comes to the match itself, I don't know how good it's going to be, but I know they're going to be able to play to each other's strengths and make it a great story regardless.
Yeah, but after that match, we go into two promos. The first one up is that we're finally going to get a Heyman Adam Page versus Murder Hawk Monster Lance Archer in 2 weeks for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in Atlantic City. But that match is going to be a Texas death match. Now, when Adam Page heard it was going to be a Texas death match, he was like, what do you say? But he was kind of surprised, like he was shocked.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, but we all know Page is going to be Lance Archer. There's no doubt about that. But the question is that after Page gets done with Lance Archer, who is going to be his opponent at Evolution?
Yeah. I wrote a note here for this one. I said, is Lance Archer the best challenger for Adam Page now? And I put no. And I also said, will this be a entertaining match that we're all gonna love watching? Yes. So there's like no stakes with the AEW championship at the moment, because I think we all got that feeling that Paige is gonna come go over on this one. But will it be really entertaining to watch these two guys just beat the crap out of each other? Yes. So I'm down for it. But it will be interesting. I mean, if you look at the rankings, Adam Cole is number one. Under Adam Cole, you have Dante Martin. And then you have Lance Archer, Andrade, and Powerhouse Hobbs. So if you're looking at just the top 5 that we have in front of us, if I had to choose, I would like to see Andrade versus Heyman Page. I think those two clash of styles will be really good. And I would like it to see if I can see a couple of matches of Andrade and Adam Page.
Yeah, but speaking that in our next promo. So we are officially going to have a Jurassic Express versus Private Party match set for this upcoming Rampage for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So
Facts.
Richard did brought up say, "Oh, after we get done with Private Party, after we get done with Private Party, then we're going to get into back with Billy Gunn and his two sons." So
Ass Boys.
yeah.
I love the Ass Boys gimmick. That is hilarious. Christian saying the ass of the family, or the family ass. That's what he said. And then also Isaiah Cassidy in the background saying facts every time Matt Hardy says something. I am ready for Private Party to leave the HOF or the AHOF. I'm ready for Private Party to be on their own. They can stay heel, but I will love it if Private Party just kind of stepped away from Matt Hardy and did their own things. I think a year with him has been a good amount of time, and I'm pretty sure they learned a lot. I'm happy when they partner Private Party up with Matt Hardy, because I was like, oh man, these guys are young, they're new, they didn't have that much experience, before they got to AEW. So teaming up with Matt Hardy was great because you got a veteran. But now I'm ready for them to take what they learned and go on their own.
Yeah, Private Party needs to go on their own. They can't be babysit forever.
I think that's one thing that I think AEW does better than any other company that's out there right now is partnering up these veterans with the people that they believe the most in and putting the people together to teach, because you got Christian Cage with Jurassic Express. And since Christian Cage has joined Jurassic Express or been a part of Jungle Boy's career, Jungle Boy's promos have gotten a heck of a lot better. If you remember his promos before Christian Cage came, you probably don't remember much because he didn't say much, but now he at least sounds confident on the mic, and that what they did with him really benefited Jungle Boy. And I think just the learnings, how to be a heel, how to be a good worker really benefited Private Party.
Yeah, well, we'll see how their match go on Rampage this Friday, but we are finally gonna get CM Punk versus MJF next week in Chicago. We had a promo to set up that match, and then the Pinnacle it came down to beat up on Punk, and then MJF sitting on Punk and telling him that I'm gonna end you the same place that you came back in AEW. So we had a lot of comments and points that came out here, especially MJF being MJF and Tony out Cleveland and everything. It even mentioned with that Monday Night Raw in 2014 where Punk was supposed to be in Cleveland at the time, but that's another story there. He even mentioned when LeBron left Cleveland to go to Miami and go to the Lakers. Oh my God, that was crazy over there. But yeah, and they even CM Punk mentioned, oh, MJF is just a fan when he listened to the podcast. Like, oh my God, you never love hearing them going back and forth. It's either you think one got up on one, and the other one comes back and give a one of the other one. Like their promos is good, and we finally gonna get their match next week. But my thing is that the question is that how this match is gonna end next week. It is going to be a effed up finish on there, and then we get another match at Revolution, and how this match is going to go? How do you think this match is going to go?
So I would think first I want to say I like MJF as a promo guy, but yesterday he has this tendency of kind of just taking forever to get to a burn or get to a point, and his promo kind of lost me last night. I was definitely down for the CM Punk stuff, and he got me hyped up, but MJF's promo got me out a lot until he started coming back with some of the LeBron James stuff. But for a moment there, it just felt a little long-winded, and I'm like, okay, just get to the point, dude. But I did like the beatdown that was towards the end after the promo was over. I like a good old-fashioned heel beat down on the babyface. So that was a really cool beatdown because I was waiting for I think Sting and Darby was the one that was coming out. And I was waiting for Sting and Darby to come out, but they didn't show up. So he just had to get beat up. But I did like the little storytelling they was doing with Wardlow, kind of hesitating to kind of do the power bomb and everything like that. So now you're starting to see that he's going to be a baby face soon. So all those little seeds they planted was really good there. Now, as far as how I think the match is going to go, oh, man. Because I want this thing to end, I'm not gonna lie, I want CM Punk to go over, but things tend to kind of like drawn out with MJF, and it's always like 2 or 3 matches. He always has these long kind of programs, so I'm thinking MJF is gonna go over. But I do think that this rivalry with CM Punk is going to lead to Wardlow going singles. So I'm willing to kind of go through that ride so Wardlow can become a singles opponent.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment where with Wardlow, and there's a lot of tension going on between him and MJF, and of course Sean Spears at the moment. But we'll just have to wait and see how that's gonna play out, and then also next week as far as because I feel that whoever wins between those two is probably going to get Adam Page, even though Adam Cole is the highest ranking #1 contender if they go by the rankings, because we'll get to the I'll explain why in a moment when we get to the lights out match in a moment. But after that, we got a promo with the Acclaim. And now we got a match set up with Anthony Boris versus John Moxley this Friday on Rampage. And then we cut into another promo. This is, oh my God, this is confused me. So Jade Cargill chooses her next opponent for the TBS Women's Championship. And then get this, her next opponent on Rampage is Julia Hart. Like, what? What?
Well, because she wants an easy match.
Like, that don't make no sense. Like, she literally had a good match with Anna Jay last week, and now Julia Hart. I don't understand that.
Well, I think they just need, someone to job out to Jade until they put her into a program with a real competitor and a real threat to her title reign. But I think they're doing low-key Goldberg type things with Jade Cargill. She's undefeated. Her record is ridiculous. I mean, Jade has how many wins? 25 wins, 0 losses. Even, Britt Baker has 40 wins, 19 losses overall. But she also Britt Baker just has 1 win this season. Jade Cargill already has 3 wins this season. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just racking up wins for Jade. Now, who can take her out? Obviously, to me, is Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa needs to be the next TBS champion. I just noticed Ruby Soho isn't even in the top 5 right now. But I think what they're doing with Jade is just trying to give her as many wins as possible, so she has like this incredible record and a reason why people can't argue that she's like a really good TBS champion.
Unfortunately, Thunder Rosa is actually next for Britt Baker, and if I see anyone taking off the title of Jade, it could be either Serena Deeb or Ruby Soho, or mostly Serena Deeb, but we'll see how that goes.
They kind of dropped that rivalry that Thunder Rosa was having with what's her name?
Mercedes Martinez. No, it's still going on. It's still going.
Yeah, but I know like last night there was no like real mention of it.
Yeah, it's still going on. So she got to finish. Thunder Rosa got to finish her rivalry with Mercedes Martinez before going into Britt Baker.
Gotcha. So who would you want to see as the next TBS champion? Like really win the belt?
I don't know, but yeah, we'll see how that's gonna play out. But going into first women match on the night is legit Leyla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. Now, when it comes to legit Leyla Hirsch, she reminds me a little bit of Shayna Baszler, a little bit.
Yeah, not as dangerous as Shayna Baszler, but definitely potential to grow into that role. Man, she is so small though, man. It kind of works with her. I'm glad they put her against Red Velvet because Red Velvet is really small as well. Like they're just both really petite women. But done together, you didn't notice if any one of them was like really small. But I think that was a pretty good match. I like that they're trying to put Leyla more in a heel position. She's been doing more promos and had more time to speak lately. So I like that they're giving her the ball and letting her run with it and see how she do, So I think she is a good heel wrestler.
Yeah, but she gets a win over Red Velvet right now. But this rivalry is just based on her and Chris Statlander for what happened previously on Rampage and that six person tag match that happened previously. And then after the match, once the match wrap up, Leyla Hirsch continued to excuse me, continue to beat down on Red Velvet, and then Chris Statlander comes in to break it up. So you already know Chris Statlander versus Leyla Hirsch matches in the future coming up soon.
Yes.
And they're probably going to happen on a Rampage. On a Rampage.
Yes, indeed. They do need to start having the TBS Woman Champion fight on TBS. But at the same point in time, I also don't want to see Britt Baker be the queen of Rampage since it's on TNT because she's the world champion. Definitely, they kind of got to figure out, like, I guess they're equal belts. And I know Cody was saying, like, all the belts are equal and it's not like something is lower than the other. But definitely the TBS champion feels like, a secondary championship, just like the TNT championship feels like a secondary championship to the AEW championship. So with that, you do have an opportunity to have kind of rankings for each of those belts and their own divisions. So it's gonna be fun to kind of see how the TBS championship play out and how it goes compared to the World Women's Championship for AEW.
Yeah. And then we go into a very, very awesome promo in the House of Black with Malachi Black and Brody King. Now, going back to Julia Hart, and once Jade squashed her, I felt like this is going to lead to Julia Hart joining the House of Black. But not only that, but the main promo is mostly about the upcoming tag team match that's set for next week with Malachi Black and Brody King versus Pac and the Death Triangle next week.
Yeah, I was definitely I was disappointed that I didn't get to see the House of Black wrestle last night, to be honest. But I'm excited to see what they do with Pac.
Oh yeah, that's right. So next week we have the House of Black versus the Death Triangle. And then and then we got a promo during the commercial break. As you already know, Sammy Guevara with the flip cards for Fuego. So it was there to help him out because Sammy was all bruised up from the match. And then after the commercial with Sammy Guevara, we got Britt Baker taunting the Cleveland Browns, gloating over her accomplishments. And then just I can't wait to see her man, Adam Cole, and then in a lights out match with Orange Cassidy. But it's a man.
Now
I feel like Britt Baker's gonna have a vacation if she don't have an opponent at Revolution.
Yeah, with the Orange Cassidy match, though, we're getting to the real exciting news about what happened last night and who debuted last night.
Well, hold on. We're not there yet. But before we get there, let's talk about the matches that are announced for this Friday's Rampage and next week's Dynamite. So, for this week's Rampage, we do have Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson finally having their match against FTR. They were supposed to have a match previously, but due to COVID, that didn't happen. So we finally gonna get that. Then we got to see Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose cutting a promo. So they finally go to, I think it's either going to be either Dynamite next week or Rampage next week, saying that Nyla Rose is going to square up with Ruby Soho. I don't know when that's going to happen. It's probably going to happen on Rampage, but they never mentioned when that's going to happen. I kind of missed, I don't know if I missed that or something like that. And then we got a like I said, we got a TBS championship match with Jade Cargill and Julia Hart. The AEW World Tag Team title match with the Jurassic Express and Private Party, and then John Moxley versus one of the members from the Acclaim. And then next week's Dynamite, we finally gonna get the match with CM Punk and MJF, and then the House of Black versus the Death Triangle.
So sound like a real packed show. Hey, how do you feel about the Acclaim?
Oh my God, I see them as the throwback of Dr. Thugonomics John Cena.
Yeah, I can see that. But also, what kind of makes them interesting is they're a little bit of Road Dogg and Billy Gunn at times too, with just like not with their personality, but just kind of like their presentation with the, Washington D.C., the Acclaim have arrived, and then having Max Caster do, all his stuff. Man, they're such an interesting team. Like Max Caster just reminds me of that high school class clown type of guy that, I feel like I just know a couple of cats like Max Caster that's just an oddball, and he shouldn't be an oddball, but he is an oddball, so I just think I'm really over on those guys, man. They're a great team, young team, and I think with time they're going to be, something to look forward to, seeing them win the belts.
Yeah, but I can't wait to see what the future holds. But so we go into the unsanctioned lights out match with Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. Now, let me just say, it's unsanctioned, so that means win or losses doesn't matter. So Adam Cole is still undefeated. He is still undefeated in singles matches. Okay. This doesn't count. So moving forward, it went all over the place. We saw appearances from Nick Jackson and who else? We saw Best Friends in there, but we got a debut, but it's not the debut that you guys will might be expecting. But that debut coming from you already know. You want to mention his name? You already mentioned. You want to say his name?
So Danhausen is All Elite Baby. That is a fact now. He is in the company, and I think I can't wait to see all this stuff come on. I know him and Orange Cassidy are friends in real life. So if they are paired up with him, that'd be hilarious. But I just can't to see what he does throughout the company and just how he's gonna just become a part of stuff, because he's a great talent, man. He's hilarious. So just that video with Danhausen and the Ass Boys was hilarious. So I just can't wait to see what they plan to do with him and how he's going to fit in. But I think AEW is a perfect place for a character like him.
Especially when he pull up the, I got your nose. Oh my God. Like, legit, everybody thought it was going to be Johnny Gargano debuting, but that did not happen. Yeah, yeah, we gonna have to wait another time for that to happen. Okay.
Yo, AEW needs another like Rampage needs to be a 2-hour show. Like they need to take Rampage and move it to like Saturday or hey, sorry guys, my dog name is Charlotte Flair, by the way. But it is not a disrespect to Charlotte Flair. Just I was a real big fan of her at the time when we got this puppy. Come on, Charlotte. But anyways, I think Rampage needs to be 2 hours. Their roster is so filled to the brim that they need an additional hour for all of this. Or Dark needs to become something more serious. You know what I'm saying? Like AEW Dark and Elevation, they need to become something more serious where it's like their main talent is wrestling on those shows. Because if they take that time for Dark to focus in on everybody, we'll have a lot more great matches. But I'm excited that Danhausen is in AEW.
Yeah, I want Rampage to be a 2-hour show, but it just got to move away from Friday night.
Friday at 10 after SmackDown, it sounded like a good idea in the beginning, but not so much now. I think they need to kind of make it a, I don't know, put it on Tuesday, go back head to head with NXT or something. I'm not sure, but do something. But I think it needs to move, or just move it up an hour. Start it at 9 to 11 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but going back to Cole and Cassidy match, after all the surprise appearances, they go back to a go position, aka gorilla position, where you saw Tony Khan and them on there, which you don't hardly see in WWE, where you see Vincent Bruce at gorilla position. You don't see that. Right. You go back there, but you see Tony Khan there. What did I say? After they gone back for gorilla position, they again went back to the ramp and go up to the stage. Oh, and there was one point when Cole's tried to do the low blow, but it's not the low blow you expected, because Orange Cassidy had a cup filled with thumbtacks.
Orange Cassidy is great. Such a good talent. That was a great moment, by the way. And Cole is just such a good heel, with all his reactions and his storytelling. Really good match between these two. I wasn't really knowing like what to expect from this match, but I was like really surprised, and I was glued to my set watching these two guys wrestle.
Yeah. And then let me say, the ending of the match kind of reminds me of Blood and Guts.
In which way?
Of the ending. Like okay. At the ending of the match, when Cole and Cassidy was on top of the stage, and then Cassidy grabbed Cole with a hug.
And that was great. Yeah. Watching Cole try to get out of that hug was hilarious.
Yeah. And when they crashed down below, it don't look like tables. There was like a piece of cardboard. And that's exactly how Chris Jericho landed in some cardboards, where MJ did the Simba and Scar thingy.
No, you know what? In Blood and Guts, what they did was they covered it up with something that looked like metal, but under it was like plywood and everything like that. So so do you have an issue with them like using crash pads or like stunt stuff to protect the wrestlers?
I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but it just felt too similar to that. It just felt too similar.
Gotcha. Well, I guess the hug and everything. I feel what you're saying, but I like how like he landed in the pin position and the referee tripped as he tried to like count the 1, 2, 3. But yeah, I like those endings. Those fall endings and all that stuff. I didn't have no issues with it. And plus, like I think, was there a different Blood and Guts, Jericho had to say I quit or we quit, and then MJF still pushed him over. That's what that was. Okay.
Yeah. But it was a good lights out match. I would say it wasn't better than Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa lights out match, but it was pretty decent. So hopefully this is the end of the rivalry between Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. So they move on to some other things. But
the baby face can win and the heel can still keep his pristine record.
Yeah.
Well, smart. That was smart booking.
Yeah. But like I said, this is unsanctioned. The wins and losses did not matter. So Adam Cole is still undefeated.
Undefeated, baby.
Yeah. And it's currently number one ranking and should be the number one contender for the AEW World title. But we'll see how that goes from there. But overall, this was a good show, a good brief break show. Third overall, third appearance for Beach Break. The ladder match was the highlight of the match of the night of the show, but everything else was good. Can't wait to see what next week's show going to be like in Chicago.
Yes, indeed. Should Dynamite go 3 hours, Trico?
Yeah, so just keep it 2 hours.
Just keep it 2 hours? I don't know. I need more AEW in my life, man. I need more AEW. I need to find out kind of like, guys, we need more because you got too many good people, you know? I need to see more Andrade. I need to see more people. That was my big thing about this show. I feel like some of those promo spots, like the MJF and CM Punk one, went really long. I think did we talk about the Britt Baker promo?
Yeah.
Okay. But I think some of these promo spots were too long where we could have had more wrestling. So great episode, but I wanted more wrestling in the show last night than promos.
Yeah. But it's just waiting to see how these next 2 weeks is gonna lead up to Revolution and in March. So we still gotta build up some matches towards there. You already see some teas for Revolution. It's just a matter of how we're gonna execute those matches. So the next 2 weeks is gonna be very interesting because you got CM Punk versus MJF next week, and then the following week you got Heyman Adam Page versus Lance Archer for the AEW World Title in a Texas Death Match. But we're gonna see how the next 2 weeks unfolds. The next 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, but we will be back on Saturday for the Rampage review show. So and then anything else you want to mention before we head off?
No, man, guys, keep listening to the show. Like it, subscribe to it. If we see you guys like it, comment, let us know what your favorite parts is. If we see all of that stuff start to get more, we build a community, we'll do this a lot more. You know what I mean? But yeah, guys, like and subscribe to this podcast.
All right. And then other than that, he's Leland and I'm Trico, and we're signing off. Peace.